Okay, welcome to the fourth and final round of the 2024 Washington Class Championship Adult Section. I have 2.5 out of 3, and when I looked at the pairing chart and the standings, it's a three-way tie for first. So if I win this game, I mean, I'm going to be at least tied for first, which is, would be really great if I can achieve that. But in this round, I'm paired against a national master. He's currently rated about 2042, but he at one point was well over 2200. So this is by far the toughest game of the match. Let's get right into it and see how I performed in the final round of this tournament. Okay, I have the white pieces, so what more can I ask for? I beat a 2200 in round 1. Will I do it in round 4? Well, let's see what happens. Okay, e4, c5, King's Indian attack. He plays very solidly, very much like my other opponent. This is similar to the other round I played with at 1600, if you remember. And all normal moves. c3, preparing d4. Now he plays e5. This is a much more mature move and an accurate move. The idea is he wants to grab the center and maybe play for f5 at some point and take the game into different waters, which is perfectly fine. So I castle. He plays knight ge7. He's going to prepare f5, as I mentioned. There are a lot of moves I can play here. I thought about bishop e3, which I had done before, but not necessarily accurate. So I figured, let's play something a little different. I play knight to a3. It's not a bad move. The purpose of knight a3 is to sort of play knight back to c2 to help reinforce a d4 break. That's all it does. And it also so if I play like knight b d2, it blocks the bishop diagonal. So this is sort of a better alternative to that. Okay. He then plays castles, very logical. I play knight c2, as I mentioned, although bishop e3 is recommended. Still fine. And now he plays a little bit of he plays f5 right away. And again, I knew he might play this, but it was interesting to see him actually execute this move. Okay, so I look at this and wasn't really sure what to play here. And what would you play here if you had this position? In almost all cases, in these positions, similar positions, Stockfish, Leela, any chess engine I put on this will always tell me to capture on f5. Almost always. I've never seen it not do that. So that's what I did. I took on f5. However, that is a mistake. So much for thinking. This is how cruel chess is, right? Just when you think you have the right capture down and the understanding of the position, there's always a nuance. Apparently the right move here was an aggressive move, b4, just blowing up the center, right? And it's complicated. The line goes like here, takes, knight takes, takes. And the point is the e5 pawn is still there. He can play like h6 to stop my knight from, or any of my pieces from going to g5. I have moves like queen b3, king h7, bb2, and I have a very comfortable game. It's just equal, a6 maybe to try to expand, and I can play a4 and just equal. Very comfortable game. Okay, but I play e takes f5. And I'm thinking he's going to take with the g-pawn and have a really, really big center. But he doesn't. He takes with the bishop, which is surprising to me. I'm guessing he wants to keep the f-file open and keep some flexibility. So at any rate, I'm thinking long and hard again. And I play knight to e3, which is the right move. I just threaten it. And I just thought he was going to play bishop c8, bishop d7, but he plays d5, grabbing the center. And this is the one part in the game where I start to get the advantage. even though these pawns look strong, they're not quite as strong as you might think, and I'll show you why. Anyway, I take the bishop almost immediately, and I'm thinking to myself, I want the bishop pair. The position is fairly open. The diagonals are open. I want my bishop pair here. Okay, and this time he takes with the g-pawn. And look at those pawns. I mean, looks like he has a very strong center. Okay. I think long and hard again, and I'm thinking to myself, do I play bishop g5? And then I say to myself, what would look kind of cool here if I could play like knight g5 to e6. But it sounds like a cheapo, but the idea of knight g5 is to play f4, right? So if he doesn't defend, I'll play knight e6 and fork him, but he will, and then I'll just play f4, attacking the center. That looks pretty good to me. So I play it. I play knight g5. Queen d7 is a reasonable defense here, just to protect knight e6. But he plays a little differently here. He plays rook f6, which defends, but it's not quite as strong. And now I'm seeing his move here. I think he's trying at some point, depending on what happens, to probably rotate his rook to here and then play d5, and he's got a pretty good position. I don't know. I think that's what I was thinking he was doing. So I just say, all right, f4. Well, fine, let's do it. He plays e4. And this is the toughest position of the entire game. Right now I have a very good advantage here. Not winning, but I'm clearly better. Stockfish puts me about plus two pawns here, 2.0, something like that, 1.9 or whatever. But I was very worried about this position. And the reason why is I figured, if I take, he takes back with the f pawn. He's got a passer. And this is a big problem. Now, what am I going to do? Well, in actuality, I have a lot of moves to sneak out of there with bishop h3, threatening bishop e6, and maybe even winning material, right? If he plays to the hole, I can still pop in. I have all this counterplay. That's very difficult for him to manage, right? Threatening knight f7, among other things. Okay, so he plays e4, which is a little dubious. Better move for him was probably just queen d7. Anyway, he plays it. I don't capture. I'm really worried, and I'm like, I had to break up the center, and I play the really weird c4. And this is where things start getting a little weird, where he starts getting the advantage. He then plays, kicks my knight with h6, reasonable. I should have probably captured on cd5 first, but I don't. I play knight back to h3. Not a good move, and now black has the advantage. And again, we talked about this in other videos. A knight back to the rim should be avoided, right? And there was, instead of this, again, there's tactics here, but I should have just captured. If he takes back, it's just okay. I'm the one that's much better. I take, rook takes, and I'm much better in this position. So knight h3. And now he plays a very strong move here. Rook d6. This is a master level kind of move. Really strong. I really was impressed by this. And now I'm just worse. The pin is very tough to meet. The d4 pawn, the d4 square is horrible. And I'm just losing this now. I'm almost lost. So I say, all right, take the pawn. I don't, what else am I going to do? He takes back with the rook. And this is trouble. I have no way of stopping the capture on d3. I mean, I kind of do. I play knight f2 as a possible move, right, if I do this. But even then, bishop d4, I'm just getting killed. So I play the, I think bad, but I didn't know at the time, queen b3. At least I have a pin on the rook, right? And he can't capture it right away. He has to capture with the pawn, maybe, and there's something going on with this. But it's a really bad move. And the reason is I walk into this, he gets a free tempo on me. Yeah, knight a5. Now what? Queen c2. Okay, I go back to c2. Rook takes d3. It's actually a mistake. It should have been D takes, but hey, whatever. E takes D is a better move, but he's still way better. So now I'm trying to figure out a way to get the knight in the game because bishop D4 is coming. So I just play king to the hole. Again, a bad move, but I'm pretty much lost here. So I'm struggling to breathe here. Okay, now he plays C4, lock things down even further. It's actually a bad move, but I don't have the strength to do it. And this is the thing that really kind of irks me. As afraid as I was at this E4 pawn, it was never really that strong. Let me just go back a few moves to show you why that's an issue. After I would have captured here, even though this is technically a passer, at any point I can play the move G4, right, at some point to disrupt this pawn here. So it's not really a protected passed pawn. It has very limited protection, right? But I didn't see that. So I play queen b3, as I said, knight a5, queen c2. He takes. I'm just lost. King h1 to make room for the rook, or the knight to recirculate. c4, as I said. And now, again, I'm desperate. I should have played g4, as I mentioned before, to disrupt the pawn center a little bit. That was my only chance. But I don't play that. I play rook e1. And now he starts finding good moves. Now this is c3. And again, this c3 move is complemented by this bishop that's now a monster piece. I mean, it's raking the board. I don't have any moves here. Again, g4 is my only try and break up things. But it's very hard for any player to be that focused in this kind of game. So I play b4. I'm like, okay, let's kick the knight, freeze the diagonal because the c3 pawn is there. And he just calmly says, okay, knight a c6. I'll play there. And now b4 is threatened. I have to lose a pawn here, I figured, because I just don't know what else to do. So I played bishop e3, even though I should just defend it with a3 maybe. But anyway, bishop e3. Knight d4. Pretty good move. Forcing trades, which is not good for me whatsoever. I don't capture. I play queen f2. Again, I'm just looking for trouble here. This is just a big hot mess. And look at this. He's played a typical master move here, knight d5. Look at all of these pieces in the game. Sometimes you have to find, I'll just call it, for lack of a better word, the beauty in your opponent's moves sometimes. I mean, I wish I was black. I'd be crushing this guy. Of course, in this case, that guy is me. But this is really how you want to get your pieces. Every piece except maybe the rook is in the game. And oddly enough, the a8 rook never even moves. Neither does mine, really. But, I mean, it moves. Rook ac1, I play it now. But I'm hopelessly lost. And he finally plays rook c8 as well. But up until that point, they were both frozen pieces. There's not much to look at here. I'll share with you kind of the remaining moves. But I play knight g1, just desperately trying to get pieces active. He takes the pawn. He didn't need to, but he's just totally winning this. I should probably play bishop f1 here, but now I play g4, which is way too late in the game. But, hey, better late than never. He plays another very strong move here. He sacrifices the exchange. Rook takes e3. I play rook takes e3. Then he has this shot and then just knight d3, hitting the queen, hitting the rook. It's over. It's just really over. So at this point, I just said to myself, well, I'll play a little longer. He is a master, but he made a few inaccuracies. Maybe he'll slip up. And the other thing, too, I should mention, I had a big time advantage. I think it was like 10 or 15 minutes. So I'm lost anyway. A few more moves won't make a difference. So queen f1. Captures. All right. G takes f5. It was a reasonable move, but he doesn't need to. He just pushes. I take back. He says, sure, I'll take. And now he has another passer to boot. I take on e4. Don't know what else to do, really. And he plays several moves here. Queen d1 is a move. but he plays just a strong move here. Bishop to b2. I take it. He queens. I mean, not much I can really do here. Queen b3 check, sure. You know, nothing wrong with a free check. King h8, and now I'm really in deep trouble because I have no checks. So I infiltrate. Queen f7, you know, keeping things close, but he's got 2 queens on the board here. You know, I'm thinking maybe I can swindle something here, but he doesn't need to play knight g7, but he plays knight g7 here just to kind of protect things and making sure everything's you know, calm and protected. And now I'm like, all right, I'm trying for a cheapo here. Rook e7, threatening queen g7 mate. And now he finds a very strong move here, the only move that, there's many moves that win, but this is the crushing move, queen d4. Protecting g7, hitting my knight, and it's mate. In fact, it's mate and 9. Technically, I have to sacrifice everything to just stay in the game. That's it. I resigned. He played a good game. I had my chances earlier, but I was seeing some ghosts. And I think it's the lesson here, I'll just say, is one of composure. Playing chess, even at the amateur level, you have to stay composed. There's a lot of emotion. That's normal. But you have to try to fight off your emotions and look at the position objectively. And now after I look at it, and yes, I looked at it with Stockfish, but even before that, I should have recognized that g4 was a move to break up the center, right? I should have saw his rook d6 idea. That I didn't need to play c4. Just capture. A draw would have been perfectly fine, right? I didn't need to actually win. Anyway, 2.5 out of 4. The tournament is over. I got my rating up to, I think, from 1865, I went up to 1888, which is a good, you know, which is reasonable. Still feel I'm underrated, but I gotta play. Gotta keep playing. That is the key. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this last video. I will post more videos. I have a tournament coming up in about a month, and I'm going to start prepping for it. I might post some of my preparation videos to show you how I'm preparing. It's a rapid game 25 with 10-second increments, so it's sort of rapid / classical. Anyway, I'll try and post some of those games, tell you what I'm up to. Please leave comments below, give feedback, click like, whatever it is you want to do. And again, thank you so much for your time, and I will see you in future videos. Take care.